You were listening to chartingwealth.com for Thursday, the 19th of July, 2018. We so appreciate you being with us today. Hey, if you've not purchased our book, we would so appreciate you doing so. We will put you on the special list for the latest training that we're going to put out in about another 3 to 4 weeks. We just released the special training for our good friends who purchased our book. That is the first series of purchasers, printings 1 through 4. We just released the training Short Chart Trading, and we're getting wonderful reviews on that. And the next one we're going to do for our friends that purchase the book and support us here at chartingwealth.com is we're going to release one on Bitcoin. And that is our special Bitcoin chart, which we will share with you. You can have your own copy of it, in addition to how to use that Bitcoin chart. So we would so appreciate your help and support. I would also ask you guys, would you be kind enough to write us? We would like to do more for you. You know, the first thing you asked us for was a book. And it took us months, and we wrote the book, put it together, got it printed, and have been sending out hundreds of them to you guys as you order them at the website and at the YouTube channel and from the emails. And if you're not already signed up and a subscriber, that's the first thing you need to do. Go to chartingwealth.com, become a subscriber. You'll receive the daily market reviews, a weekly market review. You'll get free links to the Trader's Journal, the 3 type of trade worksheets we have, the trade worksheet, the weekly market worksheet, and the daily market worksheet, which you should fill out every day. That daily market worksheet once a week, the weekly, and every time you do a practice trade, use the trade worksheet. But we'd also like to know what else you would like to hear. Are there certain stocks you might like to hear reviewed maybe once a week? Is there, I don't know, something that we might be able to knock out in a few minutes? If there's some training tips, I don't know. I'd really like to know from you what you'd like to hear. If you would like to give us some feedback, please write us, chartingwealth1, that's the number 1, chartingwealth, our name, chartingwealth1 @gmail.com, and we will read your comments and see what we can put together based upon what you guys want. We want this whole channel to be driven by you, for you, about the things you're interested in. And again, we're not out there trying to push some, $2,500 courses. And again, these folks who are out there telling you if you just send them money and pay them, they're going to give you this great way to make millions in the market. If it were really that simple, don't you think they would be multi-billionaires living on an island somewhere, not sharing jack squat with you? In fact, you can make tons of money in the marketplace, but it takes your work, your hard effort, and your desire, and it takes a great deal of time and energy. And if you're willing to put forward that effort, the market will yield up things to you, but you've got to put your time in. So let's jump into the market. What do we see going on? We see the S&P 500 up, the NASDAQ 100 down. We see 20-year bonds down. We see gold up. Let's jump into the S&P 500 first. What do we see going on there? Well, into our second week of up movement, we've seen since that weeks prior where things were going down, the week ending the 22nd and then the 29th of June, we had some down weeks there. Things bottomed out and started moving up starting on the 6th of July, the week ending then. And so far, we're going to our second week of nice, strong up movement. Green open box candles. Again, just closed the third day of a 5-day candle. Derivative oscillator heading up. Price percent oscillator heading up. So what do we see after this bounce off the red signal line? What do we see on that 2-day chart? Well, of course, we've got a nice, strong trend line going up. Movements continuing to sustain there. Derivative oscillator gaining momentum. Price percent oscillator heading up. What's going on that 4-hour chart? Well, it continues to move up in the morning and in the afternoon, up 0.21% for the day. Price movement well above the 2-day and the weekly trend line. Things are continuing to move up nicely after that bounce off the red signal line. Go back to the weekly, move on to the NASDAQ 100. It was down a little bit for the day, 0.19%. Still, we have a green Open box candle and up movement. Derivative oscillators almost flat. Maybe it is perfectly flat. Price percent oscillator still heading up, not at the same angle it had been in the prior week, but it is up. We go from the weekly to the 2-day chart. What do we see there? 2-day chart again is derivative oscillators gaining momentum. Price percent oscillators lost some of its strength, but again, price movement well above the 2-day trend line in a confirmed up move. So what's happening with that 4-hour chart? Well, maybe in a pullback. We shall see. Things do appear to have topped off up in the morning, down a little in the afternoon, and again down 0.19% for the day. These are Heikin Ashi candlesticks. Remember that they're measured differently. I think like 80-something thousand people listen to our Heikin Ashi training. You can look that word up, and you can find our training at the top of all the trainings in the world on the internet. It is Heikin, Heiken-Ashi, A-S-H-I. And these are special candlesticks. They are measured in a different way than the standard candlesticks, and they help you find, as the Japanese word means, those two words mean average pace. That's, of course, what these help you measure. We see that average pace pulled back in the afternoon after some up movement in the morning. We look at the derivative oscillator, losing momentum. Price percent oscillator headed down on that 4-hour chart, potentially crossing over, going down. That might be the pullback that we're looking for to jump into an up trade if it rotates back around. So we'll keep our eye on that on the cues. That's where we are as we finish both our indexes and stocks and go to TLT 20-year bonds. Remember, we're in a confirmed up move on that. But what we see going on so far this week is a red spinning top. Now price movement's hanging right there above the weekly trend line. Looks like it's broken through the 2-day trend line. Derivative oscillator losing momentum for the week. Price percent oscillator is still heading up, but not as strongly as it had been on the 2-day chart. We're going into our second, this is the 3rd day, second candle halfway through it of down movement on the 2-day chart, penetrating the 2-day trend line, sitting right there on top of the weekly. We do see the price percent oscillator not crossed over yet, but looks like getting close to it. Derivative oscillators almost into the negative. And then we go to the 4-hour chart. What do we see there? 4-hour chart crossed over, going down back on the 16th and just continues to head down and has even penetrated the weekly trend line down in the morning and the afternoon. So pay attention to what you see going on there. If you were in a trade on and don't know quite why you would be on TLT with this back movement in the 4-hour chart, then of course pay attention to what's going on there. Perhaps that will turn around, start moving up again before the 2-day rotates over in a down, and you might have a potential for an up trade, but we don't have a trade right now in TLT with this pullback. Again, we're going to move on back to our weekly chart and on to gold. Gold up just barely for the day, 0.03%. Of course, gold is still in that confirmed down move. Big down candle so far for the week. Derivative oscillator gaining momentum. Price percent oscillator rocketing down. We look at the 2-day chart. What do we see there? Well, again, price movement well below the weekly and the 2-day. And again, so far, the first day of this latest 2-day candle, as far as the Heikin Ashi candlesticks go, is moving down. And again, that's where our average pace of price movement is. Derivative oscillator gaining downward momentum still. Price percent oscillator heading down. Look at the 4-hour chart. You can see down movement in the morning, a bit of some gain back in the afternoon. Derivative oscillator losing downward momentum. Price percent oscillator, however, is still headed down. So we'll keep our eye on things. Again, no change in gold at this point as far as pulling out of anything. Just some caution there if you're in that down trade. In gold, keep your eye on things. It has been profitable so far in this short trade on gold. So folks, that's where we are as we end the day on Wednesday and go into Thursday, the 19th of July. Thank you so much for being with us again. Give us some feedback as to what else we can do for you. chartingwealth1, that's the number 1 at gmail.com. God bless, my friends. All the best from everyone here at chartingwealth.com.